As we go around, you'll see it's not militaristic at all either. However, we have the ability to...
If you're wondering why there's a 50 cal sniper rifle in this nice little townhouse, that comes down to an email I sent out about a month ago to an organization called Fortitude Ranch. Fortitude Ranch is part of a new wave of Doomsday Prepper ranches that seek to prepare themselves in the case of total societal collapse. Now, societal collapse can come from anything. Anything ranging from nuclear attacks, an electromagnetic pulse, economic uncertainty, or even a viral pandemic. Now, when I normally think of Doomsday Preppers, I imagine either someone who has way too much time on their hands and is really paranoid about everything, or some rich billionaire who has contingency plans to keep themselves safe in any scenario. Basically, options that us normal people aren't really capable of implementing or affording. But at Fortitude Ranch, they're claiming to have a solution for only $1,000 a year. Yeah, that's right. For $1,000 a year, you too can be protected from a nuclear attack or a viral pandemic.
There's no doubt that a viral pandemic, such as what we're now seeing with Ebola, could hit the United States at any time.
Now, I decided to do some research before contacting Fortitude Ranch, and while reading up on them, I discovered that their founder, Drew Miller, had predicted a viral pandemic of some sort would happen in the year 2020.
And it was his prediction that something could happen in 2020. We're talking 10 years ago. That's when he wrote this book. Okay. That was his prediction, that 2020. I know, right?
Wow.
So I sent an email to them and they said, come over and check us out. So I did what anybody would do. I got my friends and my wife a few cameras and drove 3 hours to an undisclosed location in West Virginia to check it out for myself. And I do apologize in advance because they told me very explicitly that I wasn't allowed to bring a drone or tell people the exact location. Probably not a bad idea.
Just going very slowly. We don't want to startle anyone.
Makes me a little nervous.
No loud sudden noises or movements.
To start things off, I sat down with the operations officer of the ranch, Steve, to ask him a few questions, and I was excited to see exactly what the actual ranch and bunker was gonna look like, but first I needed to find out why exactly was a place like this built? How can this place survive a nuclear attack? And what is their plan in the face of this new coronavirus threat?
It's clear the government cannot help us. There is substantial risk of chaos and loss of law and order when a life-threatening disaster strikes. We saw this after Katrina, which was a minor threat compared to a nuclear attack, a viral pandemic, or an EMP disaster.
You're kind of selling out here rapidly. How many people can you actually fit?
Easily 125, can fit in what we have here right now, and that's without the new building or the second basement finished out.
Oh, and by the way, guys, if you like this video, remember to hit like and subscribe if you want to see more. This type of support is actually really helpful for us in getting it recommended to more people. Now, Fortitude Ranch is composed of 12 different locations spread across the US with more planned for the future. And the sites are located strategically across the US so that no matter where you live, you're within 24 hours driving distance. They also say that each site has a small airport nearby and an emergency landing strip on site just in case. Also, if you want to go see these ranches yourself, I was asked not to disclose the exact location of the ranch I visited, but if you visit their website, you can see a map of which states have locations. You can get in touch with them.
So, the most important thing that a lot of people can't get right now, masks.
On each individual site, there's a collection of houses and shallow bunkers that can host hundreds of people. The living conditions of the accommodations, however, vary in terms of quality depending on how much you pay.
So this is what you guys are thinking about right here.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Wow.
So this has been here, I believe, 6 or 7 years.
The cheapest option they have is the Spartan, which is a very bare bones bunk, locker, and it's kind of in a shared room, so you're gonna have to spend time with other people.
3 foot on the ground, you have metal above you, concrete reinforcing both ends, so unless you have some kind of, direct hit, you're not gonna have a problem. So you have people who just, as a membership, just have one bunk. Or, but this is all, so this would be considered one without private storage. You get some storage like this in a locker. And then in here you can have a little bit privacy because you get the sliding door. But
Right, for like a family maybe.
exactly.
They have the economy option, which is a little bit bigger. You get a bit more privacy. You might even have your own door, and you're gonna have a little bit more space to put all your stuff.
So this is the economy room.
Oh.
We got
Kind of
one
class.
bed, two bed.
Brian, you can sleep up there.
Studio up there. Yeah, I have a table, a little chair.
It's actually not that bad.
It's not that bad. Like
No.
I thought it was gonna be all like wooden bunk beds and like a mattress this thick, but it's actually super comfortable.
Also, I
Plenty
can
of
show you
space.
the luxury rooms.
Oh.
Let's go to the luxury rooms.
Then finally, you have the luxury options, which are in the lounge, and those essentially just look like a really nice vacation getaway. You have your own private room. You have to share the common area with everybody else, but you have a nice room, your own bathroom, and a really beautiful view of the scenery outside.
Let's just check out. This is one of the luxury rooms.
This is the community area, so it's kind of nice. Got a kitchen, you've got a living room, which is wow. This whole area, even a bar. Got foosball, darts.
You can just relax here because you want to have, I mean, your internet, your Netflix, the kind of stuff they have. They have video game systems too, so it's just like a really cool place actually. I don't know what I was expecting, but wasn't really this.
So while the layout and accommodations looked nice, I was actually more interested in what Fortitude Ranch's plan for survival was. I mean, I can speak Chinese, but that's not gonna help in a collapse situation, right? Who's gonna protect me? I mean, I can't hunt for myself. What happens if there's a nuclear attack on DC, which is only 3 hours away from this location? What's their plan for the new coronavirus threat?
We actually have every sort of member you could possibly need, from a physician to 2 nurses, ex-FBI, people who work at, you know, in, I won't say which departments, because just in case somebody wouldn't appreciate that.
And this was actually one of the more surprising points of the trip, because the vast majority of the people here were really, really smart, academically and professionally qualified people. In fact, as a professional vlogger, I most likely wouldn't have the necessary skill set to join their ranks, almost as if making videos isn't necessary during an apocalypse scenario.
In order to provide the ultimate in security, our members stand guard on rotation. Additionally, our members hunt, provide animal care, and assist in food preparation. There are many other daily activities for our members.
Now, in addition to the medical and military personnel, I was also told that they have people who are adept at things like carpentry, agriculture, communications. Steve even told me that educators would be important in case children needed to be taught long term. So maybe I can teach people Chinese, because I guess that's pretty much the only useful skill I have in life.
So here's our solar system. It tracks the sun. So it doesn't matter, you know.
Like a sunflower.
Exactly. So it will rotate no matter where the sun travels. It rotates with it to collect as much energy as it can.
What if there's a nuclear attack? It doesn't seem like these bunkers would be able to withstand something like that.
Nothing you can do about that. You know, but they'll be aiming for DC. I worked in the country of Belarus for 12 years, and when the Chernobyl nuclear accident happened in 1986, 75% of that radioactive contamination went through the country of Belarus. I was doing humanitarian aid there for all the, you know, the children were hit very hard, upgrading the hospital systems and those types of things. But that's a very flat country. It was very easy to disperse over there. Very hard for it to roll through. You saw nothing but mountains, right, as you drove all the way. It's good natural defense.
So the ranches are all strategically located to be outside of the blast radius of target cities and in such a way to avoid any nuclear fallout. So this theoretically avoids the need to have an actual nuclear bunker and further cuts down on costs. But I was noticing that a lot of these underground places are kind of cramped, not super well ventilated, so I asked what their plan was regarding the coronavirus.
So what we're doing now is this April, depending on what happens with the virus, we're gonna start doing 2 mock collapses a year and bringing people out for training.
One of the first things we noticed when entering the ranch was Steve was looking at coronavirus statistics. At the time, there weren't many cases in the US. But Steve said that they were actively monitoring the situation and preparing for the worst. So I just asked, what is the worst?
How long would you guys be able to hold out in a collapse situation if there were no contact with the outside world or anything?
We could literally sustain ourselves as a community forever. You have barley, you got rice, you got pinto beans.
grains and
Yes,
stuff
all
like that
kinds
that
of
you use.
grains. So this is good for 25 years. So
Wow.
each member is, with their membership comes 4 months worth of supplies. So we guarantee, you know, to be able to feed them for 4 months. And also in that greenhouse, there's an escape hatch for the first bunker, because you got to have 2 ways in and out in case there's a situation, right? Yeah, you can't just stick a person in a hole, right? Goats for milk. We have chickens for the eggs, and then we also have deals with the local farmers. So we've already pre-purchased 12 heads of cattle. We'd immediately start fishing, we would immediately start hunting.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you get your long-term survivability that way.
The biggest problem with this kind of setup would be becoming a prime target for marauders or scavengers looking to take advantage. However, like most of the questions I had, Steve already had an answer for that.
So we trained them there, and then on the basics on guard duty, you know, overlapping fields of fire. You don't want everybody firing this way, right? You want your fields of fire to be 45 degrees and then they overlap. So this person isn't worried about what's over there. This person is.
So this is the view of one of the guard towers, and basically you don't want to let anybody get closer than 15 meters away without giving you the password.
One of the key things people have to remember is how to move tactically from where they are. So if you live a couple hours from here, you've got to think that thing through. So that's one of the classes that we teach often.
So with access to fresh meat, fresh vegetables, and fresh water, a community like this can just live forever by itself. I guess that's probably one of the safest places to be right now. Now, this wasn't an ad or anything. I just really wanted to go check Fortitude Ranch out as soon as I heard that it existed. Also, the video was filmed a couple weeks ago before things had exploded to the level where they are now. So I'm kind of curious to see if people have moved there for the foreseeable future and to see what it looks like right now. But regardless, thank you so much to Steve for showing us around. He's a super awesome guy who had a lot of really interesting stories. And with how things are going right now, I probably wouldn't really mind being out there with him. But that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Danny and I are working really hard trying to get more content out than usual to keep you guys entertained and also to keep ourselves from going crazy. Everyone stay safe, and we'll see you all soon. Take care.